Cockerel, he's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel, leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel, he's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around, always talking Spurs wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel, he's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The predictions league, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel, the show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. Goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel, the show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel.
Good morning, everyone. Jose back on your screens. I hope everyone's well. It's hot today, isn't it? I hope everyone's well. I've not done a show for a few weeks, and it appears that people that watched the last show, a lot of what I said has actually occurred. Of my thoughts, that is, because it's opinions, isn't it? So a lot of my thoughts have occurred. The only thing that didn't happen is we didn't buy anyone. I said that I thought we'd buy players by the time we played Hetafe, and that hasn't happened. But the outgoings that I predicted have all been occurring. But anyway, I hope everyone's well, whether you're watching it live or whether you're going to watch it on playback. And I wish you and your families all the very best. I need to start the show, though, by sending out my condolences to David Shear, whose father passed on Monday. I only found out this morning. So, David, my condolences to you and your family, to you and your sister and all your family, and now knowing that your dad's at peace with your mum. So God bless you, mate, and God bless your family. So basically, the news is, let me say hello first of all, sorry, and then we'll start the news. So Graham was in earlier. I don't know how long earlier he was in, but he was in earlier. He's 25 membership badge, he's put a membership post in. He's been a member for 25 months. I think you might be one of the originals, Graham. But thank you very much for your support, mate. I hope you and your family are well. He says, "Good morning, Jose. I hope you're well, my friend." I'm fine. I've just come back from Spain from seeing my mum. I got back last Sunday, so I've been back here a week. Um, the first couple of days out there, I had commitments on I flew out on a Friday. I had commitments. It was my birthday the Thursday, 2 weeks ago, two Thursdays ago. Then I flew out on the Friday. I had commitments on the Friday. I had a barbecue to attend on the Saturday. And then after that, for people that know Spanish culture, Spanish lifestyle, they have siestas, man. They just go sleep in the afternoons and weird times of the day, and they don't eat. They don't go out to eat till 10 o'clock at night. So my clock completely changed in what I needed to do. So from the Sunday to the Saturday, I ended up walking 110 kilometers. So I went out and I walked the mountain, put my headphones on, and walked in the mountains, and I did 110 kilometers. Um, and yeah, I feel a lot fitter for it. Um, I ate really well whilst I was out there. Um, so for those that don't know, I'm on a bit of a health kick and have been for a while now, and I have knocked bread and potatoes on the head as well as other things. And in Spain, when I was going out to eat, because in Spain we didn't cook at home once, we ate out all the time. And I was out there for 10 days. On 4 of the days, I wasn't having like loads of meals. I was probably having one meal a day, whether I was having a meal in the afternoon or having a meal in the evening. I only have one meal. But I ate chips 4 times. But they're not chips like in a fat fry that you get in a chip shop. They're lightly fried in a pan or whatever. But they're not big portions either. They're small portions. But I ended up eating potatoes. Um, I ate I had entrecôte steak. I had T-bone steak. I had fillet steak. I had a whole lobster with rice, with squid ink rice. I had langoustines. I ate clams. I had octopus. I had squid. I had scallops in their shells. I ate absolutely fantastically well. And when I weighed myself when I got back, probably a combination of eating fresh food and eating really well, and also the amount of walking that I did. I ended up, and I hadn't. So it went really really well. Honestly, it went really really well. Um, when I go home to Spain, I am well looked after. And the reason why I've got my Spanish top on today is because the season hasn't officially started. So when the season officially starts, you'll see me wearing all my Tottenham tops. I've got the new home top. I've got the new away top. I'm now going to go and get the third kit as well. So I've got all the kits from last season, the season before, and yesteryears and loads. So, but yeah, at the moment I'm wearing Spain top because the season hasn't actually started, and it's a bit of because I've been to Spain, and it's a bit of because they've won the World Cup. So there we go. Who else have we got in here? We have got Anthony says, "Big up, Jose. Just sub to you. Apologise. I thought I had already done it. No worries at all, mate. I hope you are well. Nice to see you." Um, Graham is sharing my sentiments and sending his condolences to David Shear. Bird on the Banjo's here. Good morning, mate. And he says, "Morning all. Hope mum's doing well, Tell, and you had a nice time." Yep, thank you very much. She's still she's still kicking. She's still the boss. She's still the governor. She still orders me about, even though I'm a fairly elderly gentleman now. But she still orders me about. She's still the matriarch of the family. Nita, good morning, Nita. How are you? Long time no see. Says, "Good morning, Hans. I hope you and the family are well. Just listening while I do my housework. Welcome back. Thank you very much, Nita. Hope you and the grandchildren are well, and I hope that you haven't got too much housework to do. I know how everyone um, so I know how you dote on your grandchildren. You're always running around after them. Um, and what I will say to you is that maybe get your grandchildren to do something for you. I know that you love doing it for them, but maybe let them do something for you. And she also says hi to all the chat. Um, Bird on the Banjo says, "Blimey, bro, you ate like a king." I certainly did. I certainly did. Graham says he's now hungry after what I've said. Bird on the Banjo again says, How were the Spanish vibes after winning the World Cup? Yeah, in Spain they've taken it really, really well. I mean, I'm not from the cities. I'm from a rural part of Spain. Like I said, I'm in the mountains, and because I'm in the mountains, I ended up doing a lot of walking, and with that, um, we are quite remote. I mean, we've got no Wi-Fi at home or anything like that, so we're quite remote. But I will say that, yeah, I saw a more united, because Spain is fragmented. Spain is everyone, it lives for their region. So you get Catalonians, you get Basques, you get Andalusians, you get the Castilians from the middle of Spain, you get the Asturianos, you got the Extremodenses, you got los Gallegos where I'm from. So everyone seems to be. So when you see Spain celebrate, then the players don't normally drape themselves in Spanish flags. They normally drape themselves in the flags of their regions. Um, but I will say that when I went to Spain this time round, I saw a more united support. Everyone was more Spanish than what they were regional from what I saw whilst I was out there, which was nice to see. Um, yeah, it's going to be interesting. We have a World Cup winner in our team, third one on the spin, but we have a World Cup winner, which is all great, yeah, and superb. Um, so yeah, it's all great. It's all great that they're doing really well. Dakaru, good evening, Day. I hope you are. Just got off the phone from Dave Shear, and now Jose's online. Everyone's about tonight. Day, I started the show by sending my condolences because I saw the message in the WhatsApp group this morning, but I've come straight on here, so I've already passed my condolences on here on the show, and some people have already commented on it. Um, Daniel Coys. Hello, Dan. How are you, mate? I hope you're well. Says big up, I was on my way to the game today. Hope you're all good, mate. Dan, mate, you got a ticket, enjoy it, because I know you got to travel as well. You travel quite a distance to get there. Listen, enjoy the day, mate. Enjoy the day, enjoy the game, enjoy seeing the new kit, enjoy seeing the new players that we've got. Have a really, really good day. I mean, at the end of the day, whenever you can get hold of a ticket to watch your team, then by all means do so, mate. And I hope you really do enjoy it. And I hope they um, put some joy back in you, because we've had a couple of seasons of really mundane shit, and I know that you've gone through the mill, mate. So yeah, and I hope your nan's well as well, Dan. Yeah, but take care of yourself and really do. Yeah, enjoy the game, mate. Enjoy the game. Dave says, got to see Spurs win over Chelsea in Sydney. Richie scored right in front of me. Dave, I've seen your comments in the WhatsApp group, and I know that you had a fantastic time, and I've seen your photographs as well. Another one, like I just said to Daniel just now, I'll say it to you as well, Dave. What's good is that you got to see your team play. Um, and yeah, you got to see the team play. Maybe it might not have been at the stadium, but you saw them on your own patch. Fantastic. It's great. Anytime you can get to watch your team, it's always going to be a memorable night. And obviously, it's not a Premier League game, but beating Chelsea by that 2 goals to 1 on that night. Um, Sorry, was it the night? Yeah, it was the night, because it was a daytime here when it was on. So I was in Spain for this game, so I missed this game because I was in Spain. But yeah, it would have been a great night for yourself. So well done, you, mate. Uh, Bird and Banjo says that's a great insight. I think you're talking about when I was talking about the Spanish teams. Bird and Banjo then says Porro's reception was really nice. Yes, it was. He got more of a reception than many other players have had at Tottenham for winning World Cups. He got a better reception than what Cootie got. He got a better reception than what Hugo Lloris got, for when they won the World Cups. He got a better reception than Pat Matassar when they won the AFCON. So yeah, but it was really, really good to see. Nice touch, everybody. So everybody that was out in Australia, near enough. No, it was actually more people, although some people have left the club now. So we had as many people. The amount of people you saw him do the Guard of Honour is the amount of people that we took out to Australia with all the backroom staff and everything. It's amazing, isn't it? So, and that was quite a queue of people because it went all the way and round the bend, didn't it? So, yeah, he got an absolutely fantastic reception. Nita is saying, my grandkids just came back from the USA, went to see the other side of the family. Fantastic. Did they enjoy themselves, Nita? Did they bring you back presents? Are they happy to see you? No wonder they want you to cook, Nita. Um, Dan says he's taking my mate and his 2 sons, one of his boys' first ever Tottenham game. Fantastic. Daniel, you know the score. Memories, mate. The same as your photograph that you've got with Ginola and that on as your screenshot when you was a mascot as well. Memories, aren't they? So the first game for the kid, it'll be just memories. So absolutely brilliant, fantastic. Ronnie, good morning, Ronnie, mate. Ronnie's here, says, good morning, Jose. Come on, you Spurs. Good morning, Ronnie, mate. I hope you are well. Hope you're looking forward to the season. Are you going to the game today? We've got Daniel that's going to the game today. He's on his way. I don't kick off for another 4 and a bit hours, but fantastic. Sun's out, weather's good. It'll be nice atmosphere. Fantastic. Great day. Nita says, my friends in Castellon sent me videos of the celebration in Valencia when Spain won the World Cup. It was off the hook. Like I said earlier, Spain is set in regions, and everyone is for their region, so to speak. However, like I said, I saw a more united Spain when I went out there this last week. I think that I think what they've done with the team, in Spain, because I think they started it back in the early 2000s. They got rid of the us and them, a bit like England had the us and them, the rivalry between Barca, Madrid, Atletico, uh, Betis, Sevilla, Valladolid, Zaragoza. They got rid Deportivo. They've got rid of that kind of stuff. And the manager that came in at the time, Del Bosque, he turned round and he said, um, we're not going to have like pockets of support here. What we're going to do is we're going to unite everyone, forget about the rivalries. So that's where Spain started going away from club colours and stuff and going to their regionals. But because this is now 20 years further down the line from when this started, you can see that Spain are more united and the players are more united in togetherness as a team and stuff like that. So yeah, but long may it continue. Daniel says Spain save football. David Shear, good evening to you, David. I'm not sure if you've come in live now. But if you've come in live now and you haven't heard the start of the show, David, I passed on my condolences at the start of the show to you and to your sister and the rest of your family on the passing of your father. Your father is now with your mum. They are both back together again. And as I said, my sincerest condolences to you. And I began the show by saying that, David. And he says he's just got off the phone from speaking to Dakara. He loved watching Spurs versus Chelsea, which Day's in the chat as well, and Day said this as well. So God bless you, mate. And then Graham's extending what we said earlier. He says, "G'day, David, mate. Sorry to hear your sad news. My thoughts are with you, Cobber." So David says he has. Ronnie says he's not going today. Jose going to Brentford away next week. Can't wait. Ronnie, whereabouts are you in the stadium, mate? Whereabouts do you sit? Where's your season ticket? Because I'm quite happy to meet people before the game. I'm in the West Stand. I'm in block 506. I'm in with the posh twats. So, because seeing that I'm a posh person myself, I'm in with the posh boys and the posh girls, as I'm really, really posh. But yeah, let me know because I'm happy to meet up with anyone. So, you know, um, David says thank you. No, no, no. It's not. It's not. There's no thanks whatsoever. You know, these are times that it's times to remember. Um, There's sad times, but there can be times of joy as well. And it's about uh, having having the memories and have them shine bright. Going forward, and that's how you celebrate. A loved one that's passed on. Um, David says. David is flexing his 23-month membership, saying, "Cheers, mate. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much. God bless you, mate." North Stand upper. Right, I'm in the West Stand. 506 is the upper part of the West Stand. So, if you, Ronnie, if you ever want to meet and that, like I said, anyone that goes to the games, I'm happy to meet and that. I'm happy to have a bit of a munch. I don't drink much at all, but I'm happy to have a munch or just, just have a chat and have a catch up before the game. So if anyone wants to reach out to me, don't be shy. I'm happy to meet people. Um, right, whilst I'm here, how many have we got watching at the moment? I've got 12 watching. It's not that many, but it will do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give 5 memberships because we have the world famous. Look at that. Who's got them? Look at that. Right, we've got the world famous competitions that we do coming, starting on Friday again. So I've just gifted 5 memberships, and they've gone to Bird on a Banjo. See, Bird on a Banjo's here, and he gets a membership. So Bird on a Banjo, you've been gifted a membership. Truck Sama 1992 has been given a membership. Meeks and Mike has been given a membership. THFC that Dermot has received a membership, and CHPRZ123 has received a membership. So there you go, 5 memberships out. What memberships actually do for you is it means that you are able to enter our Burner Banjo. I'm not sure how often you watch the channel, whether you watched it last season, the season before, and the season before that. But what we do is we do 3 competitions here. 2 are free of charge, but one of them you have to be a member to partake, and they're the live shows every week that we do on a Friday where we do the predictions. So what I tend to do is we do the predictions for the Premiership games, and it's interactive, so we do it live on a show. And then also what we then do is I always throw free bonus games in, so it can be free games from any other league. So we do that, and when it's a rest week for the Premiership, I normally put on a I normally put on bonus weeks where I put on like loads of new. Like I pick games from all around the world, and we do it. It's a lot of fun. People enjoy it. It's back on Friday, so now that you're a member, whilst you're a member, you can partake. Yeah. Um, so it starts on Friday. So well done, you. If you want to join in, Friday's show is the one to join in on. But then also as well, I might have to copy and paste this again, but predict the football. So predict the football for people that want to join up to predict the football. It's there. Um, let me just see if I can do it again. No. Yes, I can. Right. Predict the football is an interactive game that is it's the same as prediction. This is Premiership predictions only, but this is done online, and by doing it online, it just means it's calculated differently to the way that we do it. But it's free of charge. You're more than welcome to join. The link's there. I've re-put the link in just now down the bottom here, so it's there again, right? So do predict the football. Enter the code, and you can enter predict the football, and it's there. And it tells you weekly what you've done. So yeah, it tells you weekly. So it reminds you weekly. It's interactive. It's online, right? So it reminds you weekly to do your scores, and then it updates you weekly on what your scores are, and then you can see the league table on a weekly basis. You can predict any football match up until the point of kickoff. So if you know what the team lineups are an hour before the game, and you decide that you want to change what you initially thought, on the online one you can change it, right? But it's free of charge, this one, right? And then we've also got, which I've put into the chat again, is a fantasy Premier League. So the Eltel Cockerel League, Fantasy Premier League, the world famous Fantasy Premier League, is open again. And this is the code to access that as well and to join the Eltel Cockerel League. Once more, this is free of charge. Yeah. And I've also put the links are in the description of the show. So if people want to join, you're more than welcome to do so. But like I said, the league's back next week, so it'll be a good crack. Here's another one of the regulars, Jim, also known as Archer. Don't know whether to call you Jim or whether to call you Archer, but he's here. He says, "Good morning, Jose and chat." Good morning, Jim. I hope you're well. I hope you and the family are well. I hope the weather's good for you, and I hope you're having a good summer, um, and enjoying. Are you? I don't know. Are you going to the game today, Jim, or are you going to be watching it on Spurs play? I'm not going to the game today. Could have got a ticket, but I just thought to myself, do I really want to travel up? Well, no, sorry, tell a lie. I could have gone to the game today, but for those that know that are here in England, there was a derailment of a train 2 days ago, and that was on my line where I live. So currently, we don't have any trains going up to Gatwick Airport or London through that line because obviously having to clear the scene, they're having to pick up the carriages that went off the track. Um, they do have to do the forensics and whatever like that. So I don't know when it's going to be up and running. It would have been an absolute ball ache for me to get to the game, and I don't live close to the ground. It takes me about 3 hours to get to the games, so um, I thought to myself, I better not chance it today. Um, our first home game is not for another 2 weeks. I'm hoping that the line and everything's all cleared by then. So I will be going to Brentford. It's my first game of the season. I'm not there today. I also have Spurs playing, and that's where I'll be watching today's game. Um, so that will be good to watch today. So you're not going, you'll be watching it on Spurs play as well. Good morning. It is still morning. Yeah. Good morning, Rob. Rob Always United is here. Good morning, Rob. I hope you're well, mate. Hope you're enjoying the weather, and I hope you're happy and healthy, mate. Um, so let's start with right. So I'm going to go back to my last show that I did. So for those that know me, I just give out opinions, right? And they're just my opinions. Sometimes I show some facts, but basically it's generally about opinions because facts suit people's arguments, and I'm not there to suit an argument. I'm there telling you what my thoughts are, and whilst I'm telling you what my thoughts are, it's always great to hear your thoughts, and as per usual, I try to read out as many comments as I possibly can. But I did a show, so the show that I did possibly was about, I'm going to say 6 weeks ago. Right, I did a show about 6 weeks ago, and the show was all about. I'm gonna have to look. What did I do a show on? Let me tell you now. Let me tell you now what I did. I did a show about 6 weeks ago, and the show was around. This is Tottenham 26-27, and we had already bought 6 players in at the time that I did the show, and then we were linked with at the time. We were linked with Savinho, Krupi Jr. and Rafael Leao, right? Because that's what my thumbnail shows. So we did that, and we did that show, and we had a chat on that, and I talked about, at the time 6 weeks ago, I talked about, yeah, the business that we'd done was really good. Yes, it's not rocket science, people. Yeah, we still needed to upgrade the front line, and we had to move players on, right? So that was 6 weeks ago. This was followed up by a show that I did just before. It must have been the week before I went to Spain. So I'd say about just about 3 weeks ago, I did another show, and that follow-up show was called a debrief. And on that show, I talked about what I thought would happen going forward. And at the time, on that show, I said that my belief was, because sorry, I did it 3 weeks ago. So it was the week before the Chelsea game. So I think we just played one of the Aussie side, and we either played the New Zealand side. We just played against the Kiwi side, right? Because that was on a Saturday, and I did the show on a Sunday. And I turned around and I said at the time that my expectation was, and bear in mind that I'm still in New Zealand, they're still yet to go to Australia. And I said that my expectation was, and my opinion was, that Tottenham, we really do need attackers, and that I felt that Tottenham would go into the market and that we would purchase forward players or more players, and would have a couple in by the time we played Getafe. Because I said at the time that, with everybody and their dog and suitcases were all out in New Zealand and Australia, and therefore it seemed to be that any transfers wouldn't be dealt with while they were out there. We'd have to wait for them to come back. So that's why I said Getafe. this hasn't happened. But what I also said on the show is that I believe that we had to make some we had to get rid of outgoings because we had a bloated squad. I still believe we've got a bloated squad now, and that we still need to do a bit more to move players on and to reshape the squad. So yeah, in the last 3 weeks, yeah, we've seen players leave the club, but we haven't bought anyone. But we've seen players leave the club. I think I think we've bought 6 players in, but we've moved on 15 players. But the 15 players that we've moved on also includes Moani and Paulinho, who were on loan last season, and it also includes Bissouma, who went on a free transfer. So therefore, really, if you're looking at the squad as a whole last year, yeah, we've moved 15, but 3 of them, one, as I said, one's on a free, 2 have gone back from loan. Um, so yeah, we still need. There's still going to be more. The thing we've got to remember is that the important dates for us are we start against Brentford next Saturday, right? So that's an important date to look at because we're always going to measure we want players in by the time we play Brentford. And for me, although I'm not a businessman and I don't run Tottenham Hotspur, yeah, for me as a fan, ideally I would have wanted to see these players in well before now, and to be fully acclimatized and up and running for the Brentford game. I don't know whether we're not going to get that, are we? Because we're a week away from that. Now, whether we make signings on that between now and next Saturday, if you're going to look for Premiership proven players, the one thing is they'll be Prem proof, but they have to learn the system. They wouldn't have got a full pre-season with De Zerbi, but they would have got pre-seasons elsewhere. So if you're looking at your Savinhos and your Gap guys, they've had their pre-seasons with Man City and Liverpool, respectfully, but so they'd be up to speed. They'd have minutes in their legs from that. But it's the system and learning De Zerbi's way. But you've probably got more of a chance of doing that if you're a Prem player than if you're not a Prem player. Um, but we still need to move players out because when you look at the homegrown, the non-homegrown, and the foreign quotas and stuff like that, and it's something that you have to talk about. And when I look at that, I think to myself, "Oh, what's that?" I think to myself, when I look at that, I look at it and I think to myself, "Yeah, um, we got Jed Spence left the club, right? With Jed Spence leaving the club, he was a homegrown player, right? That has an effect on our picking our squads going forward because that means we don't have enough homegrown players. It's all right saying that yeah we can add some from the under 21 list to bump up your squad, but really you want to have the right amount of homegrown. Now, whether we get that right or wrong this year, right? Whether we get that right or wrong this year, as long as we've got it right for next season, because we obviously want to challenge and get into Europe for next season, right? So if we can get that right, uh, either this season or by next season, then it will stand us a good stead. But at the moment, it's nothing new to Tottenham. Tottenham have always been a bit iffy, as far as I can recall, and as far as I can remember. And I'm going to go back to when we first got into Europe under, um, was it Harry when we beat City 1-0 and we got into the Champions League? Even when we got back into the Champions League, then ever since that campaign onwards, I've always heard Tottenham talking about can't field a 25-man squad in Europe because we haven't got the homegrowns or we haven't got the nons or we haven't got the academy trained. It's always been an issue at Tottenham as far back as I can recall. So this is nothing new, but I'm hoping that we're going to address this over this or by next summer so we don't have these issues. The players that we've got that are non-homegrown, I think the count was that we had 20, but we know that Romero's now gone, so that brings it down to 19. And you can only have 17 homegrown, but with the homegrown element, got to remember that we're missing Xavi Simmons, who won't be registered because he's still injured. So for the first part of the campaign, he ain't going to be registered for the Premier League squad. I wouldn't have thought because he's not back till next year. I don't think he's back before the end of the year. So that frees up another space. Um, and with Kulusevski, we don't know what's happening with Kulusevski at the moment. There's talk about him being loaned out. You don't know when he's going to be back from injury. So therefore, it'd be a risk to add him to the squad as well. So basically, if you're going to drop a couple of your injured players, then you're back down to the 17 without selling anyone. But there are mooted, I think that anything in the window can change, and you could end up shifting players on between now and when the window closes. Not by the time we play Brentford, not by the time we play Newcastle, because we play Newcastle the week after it's off, so first home game, right? But the window closes, I think, it's the 1st or 2nd of September. So within the next 18 days or so, you could move players on and you could bring players in. So yeah, I think it's glaringly obvious. I think you can all see it. I'm not going to teach you how to suck eggs. I think you can all see it. We do need to bring in some more players. Let me catch up. Graham says, I think they would have signed forwards before now, but there looks to be a genuine blockage in the pipeline. Krupa injury put paid to that, and there's a shortage out there. I think there's a shortage out there, Graham, in my opinion, if you've got your blinkers on and you're only looking one way, then there might be a shortage. And where I mean blinkers is that we're looking for Prem proven players. So just looking at Prem proven players, your blinkers are on. If you take your blinkers off and you looked elsewhere, then I don't think there'll be a blockage in the pipeline. I think there's other players that you can go for. But I mean, listen, it's not a bad plan to have. If you're looking for Prem proven players, it's not a bad plan to have. It means that people will be used to the league and that they just got to get used to your system. As opposed to, you could probably go and get players for cheaper from other leagues, but then they're not Prem proven and they may or may not. You're buying them like, will they be or will they not be for us going forward? Um, so there's two ways of looking at it, but I think the blockage is because we're looking just at Prem proven at the moment and we're not looking elsewhere. Bird on the Banjo says, same old story. Isn't it, with the late signings? Okay, we've got some early opportunities in the market, but since then it seems to have dried up. But I think though, Bird on the Banjo, I think um, the difference that I can see with this though is that we always waited till the last minute, last knockings, because that was the way that the club operated. The club hasn't operated like that this summer. Yeah, we've got the early signings in, but the links are so strong at the moment with some players like your Gapcos and your Savinhos that you'd like to think that they are going to happen, and that the links are stronger with these two players than what I've seen links with other players in the past. So I think they are operating differently. And it's like I said, it's the Prem proven is where the blockage is at. If you're looking for players from outside the league, then you know it might not be. Um, Good morning, Shem. Says, hey Jose, good to see you. So hopefully you're well. Good morning, Shem. I hope you and your mum are well. Nice to see you, mate. Welcome back. Season starts next week, Shem. Season starts next week. Um, Graham says, World Cup has also made signings more difficult. Yeah, the World Cup didn't help. But what I will say, the World Cup didn't help. But some, not just in this country, but throughout Europe, throughout the world even, there's still been transfers that occurred while players were at the World Cup. So Morgan Rogers signed with Chelsea whilst he was at the World Cup. You know, so I can't see that being any different. The World Cup surely has restricted it, but there were still signings that were occurring round the World Cup going on. Um, Rob says, "Hi Shem, mate, I'm spying again." Good old Rob. Shem says, haha, Rob, new Spurs jinx, mate. You're in so many Spurs chats, you might as well change your name back. uh, what was your name before then, Rob? Ronnie says, Savinho Gapco in line for the Newcastle game, hopefully. Um, I really was hoping, my hope is that we get one of these in before next week, in before Brentford. I don't I'm not doubting that we've got the ability to go and get these players, but I don't really want to wait till the end of the window to get them. I mean, I'm quite happy to get, if we're going to let players go, if that goes right to the end of the window, letting players go. As long as we've got plans and we know what we're doing at the moment, that players are going to be moved on, and whether it takes 2 weeks to move them on or not. But for the players that we're buying in, it's only my opinion. I'd rather get them in sooner rather than later. To be honest, I would. I'd rather get them in sooner rather than later. So I want to see some players with us for next week. Um, it'd be good even if we got one of them. It'd be good because then it's one of them monkeys off your back. You've already got one. And that'd be great. That'd be great if we could get one in before then. Um, who's more advanced? Is it Savinho? Is it Gapco? Well, Savinho, we've been told has been agreed the deals and contracts being agreed and everything. It's just club to club sorting it out. So, um, yeah. So at the end of the day, Savinho's probably more advanced than Gapco. They're now talking about Gapco. Um, they're saying that people are saying that well, there are rumours coming out that we put in a bid of 60 million, I think, last night to Liverpool. So we've now tabled an official bid. Whether we've tabled it electronically or whether we've tabled it verbally, we have done something official with Liverpool, supposedly last night. So we'll have to see, wait to see what happens with that. But I would certainly like to have Savinho at least on board before Brentford. Um, Bloody hell! If you look at the players that we signed already, by adding one more attacking player, even if they're starting your first 11 next week, it don't half make a difference. It makes a difference to the whole team and the squad, doesn't it? Just by having that one extra player. Having two and three extra players makes a hell of a more of a difference. But you know, um, interestingly, I mean, for me, I don't know how you guys feel about it. Let me just say, Bird on the Banjo says, our under 18s are 1-0 up against Reading. Oliver Boast is the scorer. Rob Always United says, I changed it to Rob New Spurs for a joke with Shem for a week. Aha. Then Shem's saying, Jose changed it and we made all our signings. And then things were great. As soon as he changed it back to our transfer window, went to shite. That's why he's now Rob New Spurs jinx. um, right. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but interesting. It'd be interesting to hear what you guys have got to say. But pre-season's pre-season. Every club has been affected because of the World Cup. So people are coming in with staggered starts and staggered uh, training plans, so to speak. And I think Tottenham are doing it, but I don't. I think most clubs are doing it. In all honesty, um, but I've seen the lineup on We Are Tottenham TV. I saw the predicted lineup for today, and I think their predicted lineup was that they had Kinski in goal, Archie Gray at right back, Van Hecke, Senesi, and Robertson in the back four. In central midfield, it looked like they had Tonali and Bergvall with Gallagher as as the 10. And on the width, they had Tell, Mikey Moore, and Richarlison. Mikey Moore, I don't know why Mikey Moore. Have I missed a trick here or something? I know that Mikey Moore was meant to be going to Cologne, and I know that De Zerbi pulled that back for last week's match, but I thought he went and signed from after that. So is Mikey Moore still at the club? I don't know, but at the end of the day, looking at this, so for me, we still haven't seen like uh, behind closed doors they've played a match, right? But we still haven't seen Mickey Van der Ven because I don't know, somewhere on the line, some people are saying he's injured, other people are saying he's being managed, but you've not seen Mickey Van der Ven yet. Destiny or Doggy, he's either injured or being managed. You haven't seen him yet. What's happened to Mateus Fernandez? I haven't seen Mateus Fernandez. Now, Mateus Fernandez played in the behind the scenes training game last week. We've not seen Bentancur and Pat Matasar, right? They both played in the behind the game last week, but we've still not seen them two play. Mohamed Kudus, Mohamed Kudus, we haven't seen play either. We've seen him in training and that, but we haven't seen him play. Solanke or Sowanke, don't know what's happening with him. Some people are saying he's being managed, some people are saying he's being injured. Haven't seen Solanke. So, today, when you're coming nearer to the Premiership starts next week, so I would have liked to seen all the players I just mentioned, plus that starting lineup. I'd like to see them. Excuse me. I'd like to see them all involved personally. Whether they mix and match a first and a second half of them. I'd like to see them from the naked eye. I'd like to see them. So today, because we've got another behind the closed doors game against Hoffenheim tomorrow. Oh yeah, okay, we'll get to see that on Spurs play, I believe. But you know, you want to see your players getting minutes. You want to see them wearing the shirt, and then have confidence that these players are going to be around for the start of the season for next week. So watching the preseason up until now, it's not been the same for me. Yeah, lots of people have been getting minutes in their legs, and people have seen players that we might not normally see playing. But I would like to see some more of the established first team players out there and playing. So I'm confident they're going to be around for next week. I will mention as well, though, that in saying that, the pre-season has gone well for three players for me. Three of the youngsters have actually, for me, have excelled in pre-season. In my opinion only, don't look at any stats and facts. I'm just saying for the naked eye, watching the games that I've seen, I think Malachi Hardy can hold himself with hell head high. I think he's been absolutely superb. Rio Kaya Martin, who's apparently injured now, but he, I think, has stood out playing at fullback, although he's a central midfielder. I think he stood out and he's played really, really well pre-season. And Luca Williams Barnett. I think all three of them can hold their heads held high and have had really good pre-seasons. So these are three players that you would say are non-first team players, or you would have said are under 21 players. However you look at it, however you deem it. But I think the three of them have shone and have done really well in pre-season. Regardless of the opposition you're playing against, regardless of it being a pre-season or not, they have looked not out of place. They've played really, really well. And for that, I'm really happy for them three players. And if they are fit, which I think Raya Kira Martin, I'm led to believe that he might be injured. But if the other two are fit, I could see them to getting more minutes between today and tomorrow, which only bodes well for them. What do you then do with your Kyron Martins and your Malachi Hardys? Because they're old enough to be loaned out. What do you do? Do you keep them in the under 21s? Are they going to be fringe squad players to pad up the numbers? Or do you let them out and get them a really good loan and let them go on loan somewhere and flourish and learn more about men's football? We'll have to wait and see. Um, Graham says Savinha just needs to turn up to City in a training session in a Spurs shirt. I think he's done everything bar that, Graham, already, hasn't he? Bird and a Banjo says Kudus might be involved today. Fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. I'd like to see him playing today. Bird and a Banjo says probably won't let Moore go out on loan until we get a new winger. So does that mean? I mean, like I said, does that mean? Because I thought he'd gone to Cologne. Apart after last week's friendly, I thought he'd gone to Cologne. Does that mean he's still with us then? I'm asking you in the chat because I've not been reading up on everything. Because as I said, my shows are normally about thoughts that I have. I don't start looking and believing in everything. I read, see, and hear. I always say, have your own opinion, and I always say, do your own research if you need to. And find out yourselves where you need to be. You go back down to here. I've just copied and pasted again into the links. I've just copied and pasted again the two things that we're doing. So predict the Prem, free of charge, people, free of charge to enter predict the Prem. If you enter that link there and put that code in, it takes you straight to the Oldtail Cockerel League, and you are more than welcome. It's free to join. You're more than welcome. It's predicting Premiership scores. You can do them. They get sent to you automatically every week. So you get reminders, tells you where you are in the league. It automatically clocks up your points for you, does everything automatically, but it's free of charge to enter this. So please come and join the Predict the League. Sign up and join up, and you're more than welcome to partake. You then have Fantasy Premier League. We also run the Fantasy Premier League on Hotel Cockerel. If you are in Fantasy Premier League in any other leagues and you already picked your teams, then just add that code and you can enter our league as well, or my league, or the Hotel Cockerel League. I say our league because it's me and a bunch of nice community people that are here. Enter the league, it's free of charge. There's the code. If you haven't done it before, you can just enter, pick your team, or you can have your team picked for you, and then you can leave it, and then change the team, and you have all the way until 2 hours before the first game kicks off. First game kicks off on Friday, so you probably have it up until about, I'd say 5:30 to be on the safe side, to change your team and finalise your team going forward. I've just got a team at the moment. I've picked a team. The team is there, right? The team is there, and all you do, all I'm going to do is between now and Friday, first game, I'll end up changing my team by then. Um, Anthony says, "Where is the Predict the League and how do I enter?" Came right at the end. You explained it right. So the code is there. It's in the chat, Anthony. Right. So Predict the Premiership football. You sign up to that, and there's the code to enter into our league. And it's a Premiership one where it's free of charge, and you just predict your scores in the Premiership, and it does it all automatically. It will send you reminders to tell you got to pick your scores. It will send you reminders to tell you how much you scored for the week. It's all interactive. It's a really good laugh. It's all interactive, and that is free of charge. That one, and it's there. The links in the chat. And then I've just explained the Fantasy Premier League. The links in the chat as well. Free of charge, these two games. Free of charge. And then also as well, just to remind people, the interactive predictions league that we do, the interactive one that we do live on a weekly basis, that is for members only. If you're not a member and you put a score in, yeah, I'll read your score out, but I won't actually register and log your score unless you're a member. And the reason why I do it for members only is because it is so time consuming, but it's good fun. You get to see other people within the chat, you get to know each other, you have your banter with each other, and it's been really good. I will do a show whereby I will ask the crowd to tell me whether I should partake, yes or no, because I'm considering not partaking this year and letting everybody else do it instead. Uh, the Predict the League link says not available. It says page can't be reached. Right, let me get it for you, mate. I'll do it again. Right, let me just do it. Right. And then I've got to find the code. Right, I've put it back in there, Anthony, as well. I've put it back in there. Right, sorry, the gaps where it says code, you enter the predictfootball.com, right? Let me see if I can edit this. Right, do you know what? I'm going to try it again, right? Let me try it again. Sorry, mate, let me try it again. Right. Thank you, because if I'm telling everyone it's there and no one can get into it, then we have an issue. Right, do it that way, and then we'll add the code. Right, how about that one? Try that. That one there. So the link and then followed by the code. Tell me whether that works. Right, am I in the right path? Let me see. Okay. Right, let me try and see this one. Has that worked? Right. Tell me if that's worked. So I've entered both now. So it's that one there. And then it's that one there. Right. So I've entered it's the last two. It's the last two. I've tried to delete the other links that I've put in there. It's the last two that should get you in there. Yeah, so as I was saying, what do you guys think? You know, as I said, the players haven't played, haven't seen players, would like to see them play today against Hoffenheim, whether they're at home or away. Sorry, whether it's today's game or it's the one. Um, have you joined just the one, Anthony, or have you joined both? Join both if you want. Um, whether it's the one, whether it's today's game or tomorrow's game, I just want to see more players playing. So I'm comfortable that I think that these players are going to start next week. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Um, Let me just go back to where I am. Right. Anthony says he's in. Yeah. Yeah. Join both, Anthony. Join both. Right. There we go. Let's see who these go to. So I'm going to gift out another 5 memberships. And if you receive one of these memberships, then you can always enter free of charge. Okay. Right. So Adam, who was here earlier, has been gifted a channel membership. Reese Hubbard has received a channel membership. Ben from the coffee company has received one. W Beard has got one, and so's Ali Garcia. Who's Ali Garcia? They share my surname. Ali Garcia. Right, you're all been gifted memberships. Any of you have been gifted memberships means that you can enter the predictions that we do interactively and live here on the shows every week. First show for this will be next Friday. Like I said, what I tend to do is I tend to do it whereby um, I'm in space. Oh, yeah, here. Right. So yeah, the predictions league that we do on a Friday is really, really interesting. Adam, you're welcome, mate. You've got your gifted membership. Welcome, Adam. Hopefully you can start on Friday, mate, and come and join us on Friday. Adam, are you going to? You're a season ticket holder, aren't you, Adam? Whereabouts do you sit in the stadium, mate? Whereabouts are you in the stadium? Just out of curiosity. I only ask because, as I said earlier, if people, I'm happy to meet anyone. To be honest with you, anyone's at the stadium, I'm happy to meet you. I'm in the 506 in the West Stand. I'm with the posh people. I'm with the prawn sandwich brigade. Um, but yeah, I'm happy to meet anyone if people want to meet up. Um, I've not seen any news today because I've not gone onto my phone. Um, So, and people in the chat are not saying much today about news, so I'm not sure if anything's actually happening. I'm debating whether to do a show tomorrow. So Anthony says, so when we do predict the league, do you do a show about it on Fridays? Right. So yeah, Anthony, what I do is I do an interactive one, right? Which is not the ones that are online, the ones that are free to enter that I've just put on there, the two links. I also do one on the show, which we do live and we predict, but I only and I run the league for a whole year, but I only do it for people that have got memberships. So if people have got a membership, then I will always add their results in and I'll update the tables and we do a weekly show where we do the predictions and then I do a weekly show the following week where I do the results show, and that is joined in by all the people that I have that are members in the community, which I have like a hardcore base of people that have been members forever and a day. So I tend to do that show for them because it's a lot of work. I think initially when I first did it 3 years ago, when I first did it 3 years ago, I had 140 people enter, and it's so much work and people were coming and going and people would play one week, they wouldn't play the next week, and it's like hit and miss. People would just come and play one week only. So in the end we decided 2 years ago to make it members only, and that kind of restricted the amount of people. I think last year we ended up with nearly 60 people playing, um, and it just means that you get to know each other, you get to know people from in the community. So yeah, and it's a good crack. People join me. So the first show will be on Friday at 4 o'clock. I normally tend to do the Premier League games, so there's the 10 matches, and I always throw in 3 bonus games. So I pick 3 games from any league anywhere in the world, whether it's England or abroad or anywhere. I pick 3 bonus games, and the scoring is that if you get the absolute correct score line in, you get 3 points. If you predicted a home win but you don't get the right score, but you've predicted it, you get a point. If you predicted an away win, you don't get the correct score, but you've predicted the away win, you get a point. If you predicted the draw and it's the wrong draw, you still get a point. But if you predict the absolute correct result, you get 3. And then when there's game weeks where you have international breaks, or there's no weekend games in the Premiership, what I tend to do is I throw in a bumper bonus week where I pick games from all throughout the world, and we end up doing that. And there's games that um, you never ever get to see some of these leagues. Um, right. Bernard Banner says, "Loads, I'm going to grab a ticket 5 or 6, one game this season, then buy you a beer. Thank you very much." Adam says, no season ticket this season, but we'll still be going often. Family commitments come first. Not going to the game. Big family celebration table. Hopefully meet you at some point in the season. Yeah, Adam, it'd be my pleasure to meet you, mate. Bernard Banner says, I'm taking the missus to Newcastle. It's her first game. Like I said, I'm happy to meet people if people want to meet up before the game. Um, Anthony says, so when do I predict it on the website? Whenever you want, Anthony. You can go on and predict now. The thing that you've got to remember when you predict on the website, you can predict up to the minute that they kick off, like a minute before kickoff. So let's say you put all your 10 scores for the first week in now. As it gets nearer to the time, as it gets nearer to the time, normally you know that they do the lineups an hour and a quarter before the game starts. If you look at the lineups from any match and you think, oh my God, I think I might have to change my score, you can actually have the ability to go and change your score. There are some people that do the first 4 weeks, 8 weeks in advance, so they don't have to remind themselves to do it again. But on the website, you can go in and you can change and put your scores in anytime you want up until the point of kickoff. Good morning, Ben. I hope you're well. It was me that gifted you, Ben. Well, you're more than welcome. And also, Ben, I hope that you are well. I hope Mickey's well. And more importantly for me at the moment, apart from all your health being great, you two, is congratulations on opening your new store. It appears from the catch ups that I've been doing and from the posts that I've been seeing that you are really, really, really busy. And long may it continue, Ben. Long may it continue. Anthony says, I'm gutted I don't get to watch Spurs live these days. I have a health condition that can make me feel dizzy, so do whatever. So, so if I ever went, I would need a wheelchair. It's degrading. It's not, Anthony, because you've got they've got a disabled section at Tottenham, and if you have a disability, Tottenham Football Stadium is well catered for disabled and wheelchair access. Has a really has really good connections there. Um, and you get there's good vantage points that they've got throughout the stadium for wheelchair users. So don't let that stop you. The dizziness is something totally different, but if you need a wheelchair and that, it's all catered for. It's all catered for at Tottenham. Don't let that put you off. I mean, at the end of the day, it's your health. You'll know your conditions a lot better than me. But I mean, like, I don't know how to sort out the dizzy part. But the wheelchair part, yeah, it can be sorted. It's just I've only been like this the last few years, so it can be depressing. I totally understand what you're saying, Anthony. I was merely putting out, that they do cater for disabilities and wheelchair, and there's lots of wheelchair access in that. Um, but I hope you can. Well, I hope the dizziness stops. I mean, if obviously if you're getting it looked into, hopefully they find something and a way around this where you can feel better within yourself. Um, Ben says, yeah, busy, busy, busy. Luckily, today is my day off. I love being busy. Always welcome to visit before a game, Mr. Jose. Yeah, I may well do so, Mr. Ben. But so you now open 6 days a week, 7 days a week, Ben? Because I only thought, I don't know, in my mind's eye, I thought you only did Monday to Friday. Or is it that you are open, but you have the weekends off? I always thought it was Monday to Friday. Um, but no, I'm happy to hear that you're busy, my friend. I'm happy to hear that you're busy. Uh, says Anthony says, yeah, football is good these days for disability. It's just stresses and the anxieties triggers it off, so supporting Spurs doesn't help. Yeah, yeah, supporting Spurs is a bit of a mad one, isn't it? Really, it is a bit of a mad one. But you don't. If you like football, you're gonna end up supporting somebody. Um, we've just chosen our path to be Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and that's why we all share in your sentiment about sometimes anxiety does set in with this club, but I suppose it sets in with a lot of clubs. At the end of the day, in all honesty, mm, how many people win the Premiership? How many people win FA Cups? How many people win League Cups? How many people win European trophies? At the end of the day, it's you can only have one team win the Premiership, right? But 20 enter it. Only one club can win that. Only one club can win the FA Cup, and you have thousands of teams that enter that. Only one team can win the League Cup, and you probably have. Would you have the 92? Yeah, you have the 92 that enter that. So at the end of the day, everyone supports the club for their own reasons, and yeah, you will get anxiety supporting whatever club you support. Mr. Blackshaw, good afternoon, Mr. Blackshaw. He says, hope you're well, my friend. Mr. B, I am well. How are you, sir? I hope you are well. I hope the weather's treating you well. I hope your health's good. Are you looking forward to the season starting? And are you going to be back? I'm sure you will be back for predictions on Friday. What I'm also doing, Colin, is I'm also promoting the other two games that we play online. Um, so the Predict the Prem and Fantasy Football. If, and it's if you are interested, then please go ahead and join up. And it is free of charge, as you know. I'm just trying to see where I put the links in. Ah, there we go. I'm going to put they're pinned into the chat, but I'm going to put them in there again to see whether we get any more people want to play. Let me just put them in there. Yeah. He says, count me in. He says, count me in. That's nice to hear. Count me in, says Colin. But yeah, there you go. People, I'll plug this. It's in the description. But Predict the Premier of Football, free of charge to enter. There's a code to enter that. And also the LTL Fantasy Football League, free of charge again to enter. There's a code and there's the link. You are more than welcome to enter, people. So just a reminder, because some people might have joined. And if you have joined, there's Fantasy Premier, Predict the Football, and there is a Fantasy Premier League. All free of charge. You're more than welcome to enter. More than welcome to enter. Um, it looks like the numbers are going up. So if you're joining now, you're more than welcome to enter, people. Whilst I'm here, I'm promoting a couple of shows that we're doing. Sorry, a couple of games that we're doing. If people are interested in entering predictions league online, so you do this all online, so it reminds you online to do your predictions. The predictions, you can do them up until the point of kickoff. So the minute they kick the match off, you can do your predictions there, and it's all automated. So you put your predictions in, and it all calculates everything for you. It sends you reminders to tell you that you've picked your teams. It sends you reminders with your results. Yeah. So you're more than welcome to enter. And that is the link. The link is in the chat. And there it is for people that want to enter it. It's free of charge. Come and enter. Have some fun for the season. And it all is all free of charge. And then also you've got the Fantasy Premier League. Anyone that wants to enter the Fantasy Premier League, if you already have a team and you already do Fantasy Premier, all you got to do is put in this code and you can join the LTL Cockerel League. Or if you're new to it, just enter that link, pick your team, enter the code, and it puts you straight into our league. So, people, you're more than welcome to enter the competitions. Marianne, I've got two lovely ladies who've just joined us. So Marianne says, two marks raid, big up Jose. Good morning, Marianne. It's still morning. I hope you're well. I hope the sun is shining for you. And I hope your health is great. And the same goes for you, Kate Rixham. Says, Jose, morning, marks raid. Good morning to you, Kate. I hope your health's well. And I hope the sun is treating you well and that you're happy with the weather. Some people could take the heat, some people can't take the heat, but you're. I'm happy to see you here. Don't know what you've been discussing over there. I don't know what you've been discussing over there, um, but I've been giving an opinion, my opinions out, and also reading out the opinions of other people. Oza 4872 says we need to move on from Savinho and Gapco. Too much time being wasted, and no guarantee they will sell to us unless they sign. um, my thoughts on that is the links are so strong on these two players. So strong. Stronger than a lot of others links that we've been linked with in the past and that. So strong that I cannot but see them, well, at least one of them being signed, if not two. My comments earlier were that we'd all love to see players in before the Brentford game next Saturday, which is the first game of the season. I would like to see these in there, right? I'd like to see players in at the club before next weekend's kickoff against Brentford. Ideally, we wanted to see them earlier, But it's like putting a pair of blinkers on a horse. If you put a pair of blinkers on a horse or a pair of blinkers on anyone, they can only see down one way. And I think that what Tottenham have done, it appears that they've gone down the route of Prem proven, which kind of blocks the pipeline. Because if you're looking at just Prem proven players, it blocks the pipeline, and there are stoppages within the pipeline, which you need a domino effect to kick everything off. However, if you looked outside of the Premiership, that pipeline's not blocked because you can pick up players from other leagues. But you're basically, I think Tottenham's viewpoint is that they're buying players from other leagues who are not Prem proven, so therefore it's a bigger risk. You might get them cheaper as well. You may get them cheaper, but it's a bigger risk. I just think the links are too strong. The links are too strong with these two players, and I'd be very, very surprised if we don't get at least one of them. And when I say one of them, I'd be surprised if we don't get one of them before the weekend. So before next week's game. Yes, ideally, like I said, we'd like to have players in, and so they play and they learn the system and they get a pre-season with Roberto De Zerbi and with Tottenham. But I will say as well that the two players in Gakpo and Savinho, they've had their pre-seasons at their clubs. So Savinho's had a pre-season with Man City and has played well in pre-season. Gakpo has had a pre-season with Liverpool, so they will be, up to some sort of fitness through their pre-seasons that they've already done, but they wouldn't have learnt the De Zerbi way. That will take time. But I think, at the end of the day, we have to, if we're going to laud the change at Tottenham and say we've done well bringing in the six players early, then surely we've got to give them a chance, haven't we? Surely we've got to give them a chance to see whether they can get the attackers over the line as well. They've got a plan in place. More 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 than previously, more than previously. We've now got a manager, right, who, and with Ralphie Mawson as well, there is some sort of a plan in the background that they've got, and I'm sure that, okay, he's looking for players. Like I said, it blinkers our viewpoint because that's all we're looking for. But I'm sure that if they don't come, that conversations would have been had with some alternatives. Although it appears that they're favoured at the moment, they're favouring buying players that are Prem proven is what they're favouring. They're favouring to buy players that are Prem proven. So, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen what happens. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I would like to see players come in, but I also think players have got to be moved on as well. In all honesty, I think players have got to be moved on. I still think we've got all. So what I was saying earlier, let's not conflate it. The Premiership starts next Saturday, but the window closes in 18 days. So we will have two matches. Well, sorry, yeah, Premier League matches. We've actually got two Premier League matches and one Carabao Cup game, all to play before the window shuts. Where we prefer to have players in for our matches, and the reality is that some of these players that, and I'm hoping it's on the selling rather than the buying part, will probably go right to the end of the window, and it could take 18 days. I mean, with some of the players that we've got, and I was saying earlier as well, so this is like a recap for people who have just joined. But what I said earlier as well is that I felt that in the pre-season this season, I've not seen enough. I've not seen enough of all the players. Obviously, you've had the World Cup, we've had injuries, players are being phased returned, so to speak, all different plans. All clubs are doing this, not just Tottenham. And therefore, I was saying earlier that today against Hoffenheim, I would prefer today. I know we're playing closed doors tomorrow. I would prefer today, but the likes of the players that we haven't seen play, like Mickey van der Ven, Destiny Udogie, and Mateus Fernandes, Pat Matassar, Rodrigo Bentancur, Mohamed Kudus, James Maddison. If these players, if I got to see these players, I'd rather today's game than a behind the closed doors, because behind the closed doors, well, mind you, they're both from Spurs play, but I'd rather see the one at the stadium where you can see the players. If we saw some of these players play today, then I'm more confident that they're going to be round and ready for next week for the Premiership kickoff, and that they're going to be involved. So I would like to see some of these players that we haven't seen as yet play. Um, Kate says, thanks, Jose. I'm well, thanks for asking. No worries at all. It's nice to be polite. Ben says 6 days a week now, Sunday to Friday. Right, so you do Sundays to Fridays, but you have a Saturday off. But yeah, I'm so happy that your business has taken off. You are an astute person. You do know what you're doing when it comes down to coffee, mate. I'm sure that you'll be absolutely successful. Now, with your planning and with your projections and that, I don't know where you stand at very early doors. I don't know whether you're ahead of where you think you were going to be, but it's nice that you're busy anyway. Just long may it continue. We all have to earn a living. Long may it continue, mate. Kate says, Jose, if a big club, we should have moved on Man City. It's a piss take. It's supply and demand. You got one team wants to buy, one team wants to sell, and you've got to agree, haven't you? Ghosted Ghost London says, "Big up, Jose. Good afternoon. Oh, sorry, good morning still to you, Ghost." Ronnie says, "Pick my team for the fantasy. It's Donnarumma, Porro, Dunk, Shaw, James, M. Fernandez, B. Fernandez, Cherky, Caicedo, Haaland, Thiago." A good team, Ronnie says. Marianne says, "New forwards should already been in for quite some time." The Stoic says, "Spurs official response to Romero's departure. We have reached an agreement with Athletic Company for the transfer of Christian Romero. Wishing you all the best, Cootie. Sometimes a few words speak volumes." What else were they going to say, though? What else were they going to say? They weren't going to turn around and absolutely berate the fella, were they? They don't berate any footballer, basically. No club does that. So, yeah, it's not much. Um, it's not much. Sonny got bigger departure stuff. So, but yeah. Adam says, "I fully agree with Jose. The links are getting stronger by the day. Honestly, think they're both coming in." Coffee says, "Will deserve be playing Gakpo as a false nine?" Gives you options. I don't know whether he's the false nine, but it gives you options. The funny thing about Gakpo is Gakpo's 6'4", but he's lean cuisine, and he drops his shoulder, he feints, and so when he's coming in off like an inverted, he's coming in off the wing and that, he looks really, really good. But I'm not too sure. I don't watch Liverpool week in, week out. I'm not too sure about when you play the ball up to him, whether he is going to be one of these players that holds the ball up. And you know, I think link up play he'd probably be decent, but I'm not sure about being a target man, the hold up the ball back to goal type thing. I'm not sure on that. But I will say, if Gapco comes in, he does opt for options along that front line. If we go back to the Liverpool when they had Firmino, Mane, and Salah, the three of them interchanged. They interchanged all the time. So, you know, if you could create something like that where your front three can interchange, then it can only be a bonus for you. Football's changed because you know your number nine used to be your number nine, and he'd be up there, he's a centerpiece of your attack. But football's changed, and you know to have three interlinking, yeah, he could do a job. Kate says, Jose, we have shocking scouts. Need them moving on. Why are you not looking further afield if good scouting team? I think there are plan Bs and plan Cs, Kate. But I think, like I said, the blinkers are to look at the Premiership at the moment. But if they feel that players ain't going to come in, I think they've already done and spoken to intermediaries and stuff for other players. Just that they haven't moved for them because they prefer to go for their A picks at the moment. But I'm sure that that there are other picks in the background, but they just haven't moved on them because they want to get their A choices. I will say though that we will notice a difference, or I'm hoping that we're going to notice a difference. I think we're going to notice a difference with this with the Zerbi and um, the guy Morrison or whatever his name is. I think that we're beginning to change things. Good morning to Rob. Good morning, Sir Rob, as I call you. Sir Rob, how are you? It's been a while since I've seen you. I hope you're really well. He's gifted 5 channel memberships. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. They've gone to Marianne. They've gone to Luke from Spotlight on Spurs. Sort Bill. And they've gone to Nick from Roundtable Talk. And also to Richard Wigley. I think Richard used to be a channel member before. So if you've received a membership, please thank Sir Rob Belcher. It's much appreciated. Marianne's already thanked him. Rudolph Mayer says, yes, we have bought in 6 players early, but we have given away 2 of our best World Cup performers for a pittance. What the hell does Prem proven mean? Many of the best players were not Prem proven okay. Right. It's the players that we're looking for, players that Prem proven. We're looking for players that have played in the Premiership. That's where the term Prem proven comes from. With regards to the sales, my personal opinion is that Cootie was always leaving anyway, always leaving. And with Jed Spence, if you go and you watch the games, Jed Spence, one-on-one, an absolute machine, an absolute beast, one-on-one defending. Speed, absolute beast and speed. However, on football terms, the passing, the going, the moving and stuff like that, Jed Spence playing out on the left and playing out. He looked more of a fish out of sea playing on the right hand side, and that's his natural position, than playing on the left. But either way, his positional sense and stuff for in the attacking phase and the defending phase, you can see why De Zerbi doesn't fancy him or didn't fancy him last season. I'm going to be brutal about it. The only games that don't get me wrong, I like Jed Spence, and always have done. But the only games that he got last season, and I'm a season ticket on, and I was going, is if Porro was injured or a doggy was injured, then he'd get a game. If any one of them fullbacks was fit and for selection, he weren't getting picked. And yes, he did get a lot more game time because the doggy was a lot more injured last season, so he got a lot of game time on the left hand side. But at the end of the day, you can only, if you're selling to a Premiership club, you're going to make money, right? But no Premiership clubs came in for either player. I mean, there were reports that Arsenal came in for Cuti Romero, but you're never going to sell to Arsenal, are you? So, at the end of the day, you're looking at leagues outside of England that they've gone to, and they ain't paying the money that England will pay. If you had someone come in from the Premiership, you could have got a lot more money for either player. But they've been sold abroad, and therefore the money's not there. You know, Kate Rixham says, "Look at our strikers, not good enough either. Lot of the games goalless. Yeah, strikers is a problem. We've got one who seems to be, well, 2 strikers that seem to be injured a hell of a lot, and I do mean a hell of a lot. But you've also got 2 strikers. Not only are they injured a hell of a lot, but people say that Solanke's a perfect fit. Solanke hasn't shown me that he's a perfect fit in the games that I've seen him play. I find it underwhelming watching Solanke playing football at the moment. And as for Richarlison ends up nicking the goal for you, but God, his first touch is absolutely dire. Oh my God. The ball bounces off him, and going to the games, he seems to spend more time concentrating on the defenders and going on the floor with theatricals than he does. If he just concentrated and stayed on his feet and that, he'd be more dangerous. But yeah, the front line, it goes without saying. It's my opinion, and that's your opinions as well. It goes without saying that, we need to improve our forward line. And also, we need to improve the supply line to the forward line. So, um, Marianne, Rob says to Marianne, you're more than welcome. Enjoy. You can now enter the predictions. Jose will explain. You need to come back and enter the predictions as well, Sir Rob. It starts on Friday. So the predictions that we do on this channel, I do a live show on a Friday. It's usually on a Friday, 4 o'clock, where we predict all the scores for the Premiership. We do it live, like a live show now. So people, I bring up the fixtures. People will put it in the comments what they want their score to be, and I do it more for members because it's so time consuming and so much work, but it's so much fun as well. It's so rewarding. You get to meet the fellow people from the community that are here, and you learn so much about each other, and the banter's off the charts. So yeah, that's on a Friday, but you have to be a member in order to do so. It's the first time I'm going to ask this question, but I've just seen how many people are watching, and I've seen how many likes we've got. Can people hit the like button, please? Because it doesn't half help out. Um, and I'm going to do this again because people may have joined late, but I'm going to put a couple of links into the chat, and the links are for free of charge games that we play on this channel as well. And I'll come to them in a minute, but I've just put the links in the chat. Um, full of foreigners who? Ooh, I don't know what that means. Rudolph says, on an early channel, it was said RDZ didn't want Spence. Untrue, as he wanted to keep him, but could not guarantee starting. Then it was because Spence wanted to go. So, so did Kane for years. But um, I really like that guy. He offers so much versatility. Um, Rudolph says, I'm not interested in hopium or copium. I don't take either tablet. I will only respond when the player is holding the shirt up and then judge his performances. RDZ was right to sort of defensive midfield. Yeah, totally agree. Finn, is this young Finn? Is this young Finn that used to be a member here? A few sources have suggested that Kudus might get some minutes today. I really do hope so. Uh, Rudolph, what exactly is that make sure that they have other recruitment options in hand? It surely cannot be based on their performances over the last few years. Belief isn't a fact. Belief is when I see it. Okay. No, so what I'm saying is, Rudolph, is that with Rafi Mawson in the building, Rafi Mawson, Roberto De Zerbi, with these newer people that are in the building, we are operating differently. Behind the scenes, we have recruited so many different people to so many different positions. So going forward, things have got to change. You're going to be recruiting people for change. You're not going to be running and operating the same way that you were operating previously. They have changed their mode of operation now. Whether that and that won't sow the seeds in one transfer window. That will take time. What I'm saying is, right, is that with the recruitment that we've done so far, we are looking at people that have played in the Premiership. I don't know how I can break this down in simpler. People that are playing in the Premiership. However, my belief is that we have spoken to people outside of the Premiership, right? We have spoken to people outside of the Premiership. Just in case, if these players cannot be obtained from the Premiership, they've played Premiership football before, then they can fall back and buy a player who's a cheaper option but hasn't got the Premiership, has not played in the Premiership before. And I believe that so the links are there with Chandalup from we place it out in Portugal, Nusa, and there are other players that Tottenham have spoken to earlier in the window. Haven't advanced anything with them because they're not their ace. The A picks for them are Savinho Gakpo, but they've spoken to other players as well. And for me, they're Plan B. For me, if they can't get their Plan A's in, they'll go back to Plan B because they've sowed the seed. They've spoken to these people already. It's quite obvious. The links are so strong with these two players at the moment, right? That I believe that one or possibly both will happen. Yeah. And that's what I believe. Uh, we need to stop spouting untruths. Ardy said he wanted to keep Spence, but Spence wanted to start rightly and had always injured a doggy Robson Davis. Tuchel was right to select Spence. We'll see. I don't agree, Rudolph. And as I said, it's a matter of opinion. So on the one hand, you're talking about what you've heard, right? That RDZ wanted to keep Spence. On the other hand, people are all saying within the club that RDZ didn't fancy Spence at all and would only pick him, and he only got selected when the other players were injured. Thomas Frank did it as well. You know, all the managers that I've had, Spence, have picked other people before picking Spence. So it's not something that, it's untruth. Spence has been at the club for however many years. Ange didn't have him as a starter. Uh, I'm trying to remember our managers. We've had a few. Ange didn't have him as a starter. Frank didn't have him as a starter. Stellini didn't have him as a starter. Roberto De Zerbi hasn't had him as a starter. So it's not like untruths. It's factual. They all didn't select Spence as a starting fullback. He was never a starting fullback. It was always, if someone was injured, Spence would play. In fact, in bloody Ange Postecoglou and Conte was there before Ange, and Conte didn't want him at all. So at the end of the day, it's not the untruths. These are the truths, and these are facts. He was not a starter, simple as, and he didn't get fancied, and that's why he's not been selected, and that's why he's been sold, because they didn't fancy him at all. There's one way. So in front of when managers get asked questions, right, about certain players, managers don't give it away. Managers are going to bump their players up. How much did he bump Cuti Romero up, saying he's been brilliant with me since day one? He's our captain. He's a magnificent player. Blah blah blah. He's gone. Cuti's gone. He lauded Paulinho. He lauded Moani. He said they were superb players and that he could rely on them and that. They've gone. He played Basuma. He said that Basuma was one of his generals at Brighton. He said he's happy to have him at Tottenham Hotspur. Basuma's gone. There's one game that you play when you make comments and you speak to the media, and there's the one game that you play, but behind that there's a reality. And all the managers do it. I think they've been speaking to Maresca about the situation with Rodri. They've been speaking to Maresca with the situation about Savinho. They've been speaking to Maresca with the situation about Enzo Fernandez. What are the managers going to say? He turned around and said, "I'm not going to speak about Fernandez because Fernandez is at another club." With Rodri, I saw him today in the tunnel, or I saw him today. I gave him a big hug. He looks really, really well. He's not going to turn around and say, "Yeah, we know he's out the door and he's going to Barcelona." With Savinho, he's not going to turn around and say, "Savinho, yeah, he's one of the players. He's asked us to move and he's asked us to go to Tottenham." He turned around and said, "Yeah, Savinho's doing well. He's doing what he needs to do." But this is what happens. At the end of the day, there's one thing that's said in front of the cameras, and there's something else that could be happening behind the scenes. Ghosted says, "Spence done F all for us. I don't get the hype. He couldn't even get in the team over Poran and Doggy." And that's been for multiple managers. Ghosted says, "If Spence was that good, he would have been our right back for the last 3 or 4 years. The guy never held down a position." Uh, Ghosted says, "Conte didn't have him as a starter. No manager wanted Spence." Rudolph saying, "Sorry, I'm not talking about what I've heard. I am repeating what RDZ has said. Please go and check." This old argument about managers always being right in not starting a player. So why are they sacked? No, Rudolph. I've just explained what he said about players, and he said things about players, and they've gone out the door. You're saying one thing on camera about players, and then the other day, behind the scenes, it's something totally different. You're not gonna, apart from certain managers in the world that have done this, you're not gonna out players, are you? You're not gonna out players. Certain managers have done it in the past, but you don't tend to out players. You know, Vicario. He said Vicario has been absolutely mint since he's come. He's coming back from his injury, but he's been absolutely fantastic, is what Roberto De Zerbi said about Vicario. However, I don't know whether people saw the interview with Kinksky at the end of the season after the Everton game. He got interviewed by, I think it might have been Tottenham itself. He got interviewed, right? And he was asked about, because Kinksky had played the last 7 or 8 games. He was asked, how he's found the season, what he saw, blah, 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 and how he felt and who's helped him and, to get to where he is. He thanked Brandon Austin. He thanked Luca Gunter. He thanked all the coaching staff, the goalkeeping coaching staff, never said nothing about Vicario. And when he was asked about Vicario, he said, yeah, he's around, but he doesn't really support me. That's your own goalkeeper telling you, right? He doesn't support me. He's not a team player type thing. That's coming from Kinksky. But yet, Roberto De Zerbi said, yeah, he's the number one. He's coming back from injury, blah, blah, blah. Roberto De Zerbi doesn't want him at the club. But he's not outing him, is he? This is what I'm saying to you. A lot of the times when you talk about people or you hear something, it doesn't mean it's an actual truth. The truth lies somewhere behind the scenes, and that's what's happened here. You know, um, Rudolph, he just told you that what De Zerbi said about the other players, and then he got moved on. Adam says, oh, sorry, Adam, I didn't see this. He said Vicario was his number one. We all knew he was, and De Zerbi has hyped up the players and gave them confidence, so they will get through those tough games. At the end of the season, he had to do that. Spurs King says you can't take what managers say about players as gospel. That's why never had a meltdown when he was turking up Solanke. The fact he went once Gakpo to play striker says what he really thinks about Solanke. Jess, good morning to you. Jess is here. Says smash the likes. Yeah, people smash the likes. I don't know how many I had, but it didn't match the amount of people are watching. Cool. I've got 26 likes and there's 67 people watching. Oh well, it is what it is, I suppose. So no manager ever makes mistakes. That's why so many of them get sacked every season. Frank was meant to be the great hope. You are changed. You are changed the conversation. I'm not disputing what the manager will says. Not getting into the first team is not necessarily an indication of quality. Tuchel saw something in Spence, which I always saw, but few managers did. Fans rant on about how many don't want him. Look, I don't know, Rudolph. You've obviously missed, and you can put me back on playback. I've said earlier on, before you guys have all joined, I turned around and I said, right, and I'll repeat exactly what I said earlier. I liked Spence. One on one, Spence is a demon killer. One on one. Speed wise, he's an absolute demon. I've got no issues with that. I'm a season ticket holder. I go to the games and he has flaws. Spence has flaws. Spence is a wing back. He's not a fullback. He played for Borough. He played for Forest as a wing back. He was bought for Conte to be a wing back. Club signing. Conte didn't want him, but bought to be a wing back because Conte was playing a back three. Ever since then, we've always played a back four where he's had to play fullback. He's a wing back. He's now gone to a club that plays a 3-5-2 in Milan, so he will play in his favoured natural position. If you watch Jed Spence play positionally in a in transition and in defending, he was caught out because he wasn't used to playing that style of football. He was caught out, and at the end of the day, if the manager's going to play a style of football, he wants players to fit to that style of football. And Jed Spence obviously doesn't fit the style of football that he plays. Hence why he's been moved on. Spence also wanted to move on. You know, who's to say that Spence didn't have a chat at the end of the season and say, if there's, I fancy something new? Because there was talk about Spence going even when he was at the World Cup. Before he started playing, because he didn't play the first game in the World Cup, before he even kicked the ball at the World Cup, there was talk about Spence already leaving. So who's to say these conversations haven't happened beforehand? Cuti Romero, although he was defended by the manager, I'm sure that Cuti Romero already told Tottenham and Roberto De Zerbi, when Roberto De Zerbi first come through the door, he lost him straight away to injury from the Sunderland game. Who's to say that uh, with the initial conversations they had, Romero said, I fancy a change this season. All right, he was injured, but I fancy a change this season. Who's to say that hasn't happened? You know, there's got to be agreement somewhere on the lines. How often do players get sold against their will? How often? I mean, the way that transfers operate now is a lot different to the way they operated many years ago. Many years ago, you'd bid for a player, and it was either accepted or rejected. And if it was rejected, it's the club either really did not want to sell at all, did not want to sell the player at all, or it was rejected because they wanted a bit more for the player, right? But nowadays transfers have changed where people will speak to players, people speak to intermediaries. Whether you call it tapping up or not, it's down to you how you view it. But these things happen all the time. People say we didn't go to the player, we went to intermediaries. They've spoken to the player as well. It happens all the time. So you garner the support of the player. You tend to see where the player's at. Does the player want to come to you? And if the player wants to come to you, then you either find out whether they've got a release fee clause, you find out how much, or you get told by the intermediaries how much the club are probably expecting for the player, right? And then the people come in and bid. How often do bids get rejected nowadays compared to yesteryear, 20, 30 years ago? Far less, because all the groundwork's been done beforehand. And therefore, you know that the player's coming to you. So, at the end of the day, stuff goes on in the background. Um, Stuff goes on in the background, but at the end of the day, we move on. We are where we're at the moment. Like I said, I would like to see us bring players in this week. We haven't brought them in today. I want them in this week. My preference is to have players before the Brentford game. Whether they've had enough time to get used to De Zerbi's football or not, I would rather have players through the door. That's my personal opinion. Of course, I would rather have players through the door. And I'm hoping that happens. But we're going to have to wait and see whether that happens or not. But I would like to see that happen, me personally. Um, got a few people coming in at the moment. I'll say hello to them. Ronnie says, smash the like button for Jose. Yeah, smash the like button for the stream. It does help. It gets you out there. It gets you recognised. I am one of the smaller channels. Um, been doing it for about 3 years now, but I am one of the smaller channels. Probably because I don't go out and do a daily show just for the sake of it every day, because I'm too busy with real work life, real with work and real life. Um, Kate says, get the like sub, a sub to Jose. She's also saying the same thing. Rob Belcher, Sir Rob, as I call him, says, if Spence hadn't had two decent games for a very good England side, 27 minutes is about right, in my opinion. Neil Shafton, good afternoon, Neil. It's a while since I've seen you, mate. I hope you're well. Says, also not a strong left footed player, was weak with it. Spence was told by RDZ Porro was the guy, so rather than play second fiddle with Spurs, please move me. Ghosted says, players come and go. That's the game. At Spurs, we love to cling on to average players. Then says, I just want Spence upgraded and that we can move on. Rob Belcher is agreeing with Ghost 100%. Chris, how are you, Chris? Says, big up, Jose. I hope you're well. It's a while since I've seen you, Chris. I hope you're well, mate. I hope the job is going well. I hope you're smashing it. I know that I've read your comments on your updates and that, and I hope the job's still going well, and I hope that you're there and still enjoying it. He then says, very rare players get sold against their walls these days, as they have too much power, says Chris. Neil says, it's also serious business now compared to 20 years ago. Uh, Neil says, hola, ¿qué tal estás? Bien, amigo, to Neil Shafton. Fantastic. Phil Coys. Phil's in the building. Hello, Phil. I hope you are well. Nice smile. And Archer says, Jose, what day is the first prediction show of the season? Friday. First game of the season is on Friday, so the first prediction show will be Friday. I haven't set the show up yet, but it will be 4 o'clock, and that will be for all people that are members. We do a live and interactive show, and it will be 4 o'clock Friday. Um, yeah, first show is on Friday. Um, sorry, just putting this out there. So what I'm going to ask you then is, I'll ask you guys this now. What are you looking for from today? So we play Hoffenheim today. We play Hoffenheim tomorrow. I've said what I'm looking for this weekend. What are you guys looking for? What do you want to happen this weekend? What would you like to see? I would like to see more players, is what I'm saying. Like more of the regular, or what we would deem as first team players. I'd like to see more of them play uh, this weekend, so I'm more confident that they're going to be starting the season. That's where I'd like to be. Um, but what do you guys want out of this? What do you guys want out of this weekend? What are you looking for from this weekend? I'll ask you because I've already spoken about this. The other thing I would say is that I don't know. I did say earlier, for people that weren't in the show earlier, I did say that we have had um, there's three bright sparks for me because we've had players coming back from international duty and stuff, and people coming back from injuries. We've had a lot of the youngsters play. Some have gone out, some are still with us, some will go out. But I think, and I asked the question earlier, so I'll ask you guys as well. What do you think? I think Malachi Hardy has put himself about and done really well in pre-season and been a shining light. Kyo Real Martin, I think, has done really well and put himself out there. Although I believe he's injured, right? I do believe he's injured. And also as well, Luca Williams Barnett, I've seen as well, that's done really well. Now with Luca Williams Barnett, he can't be loaned out because he's only 17. But I think Malachi Hardy and Kyrell Martin, if they're not padded up, and I mean padded up in the sense that they're put into the under 21s list, so they don't count as in the 25 main squad, and that they get a little bit of game time, or would you like to see them both go out and get first team men's football on a nice loan somewhere? Um, Looking at both players, I think both players championship football should be all right for them both comfortably. Uh, or do you think even a lower Premiership team would be a good move for them? Um, you know, I was happy with what I saw from them, and I would like to see more from them. So yeah, that's where I stand with them. What we got here? Uh, yeah, smash a like for the stream, make a comment, and try. I do try to read them all out. Subscribe, become a member, and share with your mates. That'd be good. I think you misunderstand me, says Rudolph. I do not have a problem with selling Spence. I have a problem with the sequence and the value. Again, we've sold a player without a better replacement to make us weaker, and that's madness. Well, yeah, there is yes and there is no, because with that, what I will say is that you've got players within the squad um, who can cover at left back. You have got players. There's no getting away from it. There's enough left-sided players there to cover um, at left back. So you've got Robertson, a doggy. You've also got Van der Ven that can play there, because Van der Ven and Senesi can both play left back as well, left centre half as well. So yeah, it's so I think there is cover there, is what I'm saying. But yeah, again, there is cover there. But saying that, I'd also like to see somebody else come through the door. In all honesty, yeah, I would. I'm not. I'm in the same boat as yourselves. I would like to see someone else come in. Um, whether that happens or not remains to be seen. But yeah, I'd like to see more players come in the fullback position. Probably, I mean, can't do everything in one transfer window, but yeah, we're probably light. Maybe we are light on the left back. Maybe we are definitely light on the right back as well. Um, but then we're also light left and right wing and centre forward. So at the end of the day, are we going to buy another 5 players for glaring holes? If we were to do that, then we would have had a window where we would have done everything in one transfer window. And I don't think any club's ever done it in one transfer window. And normally it's a start in the transfer window and you build along transfer windows thereafter. But we'll have to wait and see. Again, I've put the link in for Predict the Prem, free of charge. Go to Predict the Prem, enter the LTL Cockerel League, and then enter that code, and it will get you in. It's free of charge. And I've also put in there the Fantasy Premier League for LTL Cockerel. If you've got a team already in the Fantasy Premier, just add that code, and you can come in and you can play. If not, enter a team, press that code, join the league. For this weekend, Finn says, I'm looking for an end product from the strikers, is what Finn's looking for. Ghost says, I get what you're saying to Rudolph, but I also hear the excuse from others that we need to sell first. Something has to give and get the new players in. Chris is saying, yeah, Chris says the job is going well, thanks, Jose. They seem to be pleased with me stepping up to the team leader role. Absolutely fantastic, Chris. Deserve it, continue it, flourish, fly in the role, learn new skills within the role itself, and managing, it's an art in itself, mate. So well done to you, mate. Oh, God bless you, and all the very best. Neil says this week should see some coming and going of players. Too many conflicting reports. City is waiting for Fernandes deal before letting Savinho to be sold, and Liverpool also waiting for it. But this is all. I don't know about City waiting for Fernandes because Fernandes plays in a totally different position to Savinho. Let's face it, they've got, who have they got out there at the moment? They've got what's his name? Semenyo and Doku. Semenyo and Doku will be the starters for Man City out wide. I don't know, and I can't recall whether they've got any wider players because they sold Oscar Bob, didn't they? Oscar Bob's gone. Mateus Nunes can play out that side as well. Mateus Nunes is used as a fullback, but Mateus Nunes is actually a wide player and can play that further forward if they need to. They've also got Ait Nouri who can play further up. They've also got the boy O'Reilly who can play further up. So they got a few players, but I, I mean, there is reports, and I've not looked at any social media today, but there was reports last night saying that Tottenham have actually placed the bid for Gapco now of 60 million. How true that is, I don't know, but um, Ghost says I actually don't see us replacing Spence this window. Archie Gray will be the backup right back. If the Spence and Romero money allows us to sign forwards, I'm all for it. Ghost is then saying, I'm looking for, what are you looking for today and tomorrow? I'm looking for a functional attack. The only thing missing from pre-season so far. Scott Colliver, Scott C. Good evening to you, sir. I hope you're well. I hope you're well. Predictions start again on Friday, Scott. But it's nice to see you. I hope your health's well. I hope family's well, and I hope the weather's good for you. It's nice to see you. Scott says, I want to see players return, and they're close to full team, strength team in one of the games. Yep, that would be good to see. Ghosted also says, um, hopefully Madison Kudus gets some minutes. Yep. Archer says, Malachi Hardy is actually more suited to Roberto De Zerbi's style of playing out from the back. More suited than Danso is. Don't disagree. Neil Shafton says, don't we need one or two more homegrowns to be in compliance with the league rules? It just means that your squad's smaller, Neil. That's all. It means instead of picking a 25-man squad, you've got a big squad of lesser players, if that's the case and that happens. But yeah, I'd like to see, again, I'd like to see players come in for lots of different positions, but we're not going to do it all in one window, are we? Or are we? Ghost says, they're both talking to each other. Uh, Ghost says we don't need cover anymore, and then says that Archie Gray's back up to Porro, whether we like it or not. As long as the first 11 is fixed this summer, I can relax. Um, okay, so Tottenham are now putting out there about Romero leaving. It's just come up on the Spurs account, on my Spurs account. So, but there we go, people. Links are in the chat there for the competitions that we're doing. I'd appreciate it if people did hit the like button on the way out. There's 52 of you, 31 likes, doesn't match it. I'd like to thank Rob for gifting out 5 memberships. I've also gifted out 10, so 15 people have become members today. And memberships means that you're more than welcome to enter the Predictions League that we do interactively as members on Friday at 4 o'clock. If you haven't subscribed, it'd be nice if you did. It just helps the numbers go up. And does Neil say Hoffenheim means beer or sangria? And well, at this time, 4:35 a.m. It's breakfast, says Neil. Thank you for watching me at this time of the morning, of your morning. 4:35. What? Where are you? It's 4:35, Neil. I thought that if you're on the other side of the world, it's 12 hours ahead, which makes it like just gone midnight. But if you're 4:35 in the morning, you must be North America, Neil. So you're earlier than us. Yeah, yeah. You're in North America. Yeah, Los Angeles, LA, in the place to be, LA. So Neil, what have you done? You got up early. You've been up all night. uh, Bird on the Banjo says Spurs under 18s are 5-1 up. A fire off the bench to score our fifth. Very promising young striker. Right, people. Like I said, share, like, subscribe, become members, do all them dutiful, nice things. I will probably be back on the show tomorrow. I haven't set it up yet, but I'm thinking of doing a show tomorrow to talk about the Hoffenheim games today. But I'll definitely be back on Friday. Definitely be back on Friday for Predictions League. So the Predictions League being at 4 o'clock, be 4 hours later. Neil, if you decided to do Predictions League, it'd be 8 o'clock in the morning for you on a Friday. But there we go. But people, thank you very much for tuning in. I am going to wrap it up now. If you haven't heard my outro and my intro music before, have a listen to it. You might get a thumbs up for it because it is all about Tottenham. And I would like to see you on the next one. So please subscribe, share, do all them nice things, and I'm going to play you out with my outro. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Take care.
Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky, knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at.